Schneider Electric has over 100,000 employees in over 100 countries, and we generate over 15 billion euros per year. As a global specialist in energy management, Schneider Electric is a leader in several industries, including energy and infrastructure, industrial processes, building automation, data centers, and residential applications. The company and its employees are actively committed to helping individuals and organizations make the most of their energy. You know, a couple years ago, we were in a situation where our workflow systems, the way in which we manage projects, was very linear. We didn't have a lot of ability to look across teams, look across multiple moving parts. As an executive, what was really important to me was the ability to get clear business cases, clear risk analysis, capacity planning, and most importantly, reporting. The ability to take large pieces of data and be able to look at them in an objective way to determine if we were on track, where we had process gaps, where we had gaps within teams in terms of resources.
Bandwidth is a definite concern for when we're considering which projects we take on and which projects we don't. We only have a certain number of resources available, and that includes people and time.
As part of global marketing, we're very process-oriented, and we use tools such as Visio to outline process maps and workflows. And it's a great tool to get in a room together and determine the process. But then when it comes to actually implementing a project, we've actually taken the templates within AtTask, and we've turned those Visios essentially into a template in AtTask, and it allows us to follow a process repeatedly for each new project that we deploy.
Schneider Electric is very process-driven. Everything has an OLP, everything has an order process. Everything is outlined with job roles, who does what action items. We are very process-driven. Our processes are then outlined via templates in AtTask.
I like being able to see the project step by step, and it allows me to see how far along I am in the project itself. Another feature that is really useful is the calendar feature, because it populates all of your jobs as in a to-do list, and it really, really helps organize basically your week, your month.
The templates that we do use allows teams that are in remote locations to follow the same process regardless of where they are, and it helps everybody get on the same page much more quickly. Even from a new training, a new hire standpoint, somebody comes on the team, and you very clearly can show them, what are the steps that are going to make this project, successful.
The benefit to a writer, to a designer, to someone who's looking at task-based workflows, we can get them up to speed much quicker than we used to be able to.
A lot of the times, especially being in a creative group, the business can tend to think that we are not as professional as some of the other parts of the business, like sales and accounting and whatnot. So using this kind of a system and being able to show them a Gantt chart, being able to show them a very clear process, and that we follow a very clear process and that we are accountable, I think is so beneficial, because they take us much more seriously when we're planning projects for them. We didn't want islands of data, on individual people's desktops and, versions that are out of date and that kind of thing. So we wanted to centralize project information. We wanted to have project timelines that were accessible to everybody. And we really wanted to just bring visibility to project information to all team members worldwide.
I can put almost everything that I need for a project into the system. Prior to working in AtTask, we were working in multiple different functions, including Excel, Word, Microsoft Project, email, and now I can take all of the information that I've been capturing in those separate documents into my custom data fields and my timelines and my user assignments. So it's just a really encompassing system for our needs.
Because of the fact that it's not living on somebody's machine. You have a centralized location for files, whether they be Excel files, spreadsheets, documents, images, PDFs, anything. It's a centralized location for what work is being done on projects, where the project is at, what's going on with that.
AtTask has allowed us to have much more constructive and objective conversations with some of the teams and people we're working with, as opposed to more subjective.
If I want to see what my teammates are up to, I just look right on the side of the page and it's right there. Everybody's status it basically works as a Facebook status, more or less.
Being able to look at the stream and understanding what the most recent notes were, being able to see that at a high level, has helped us understand what the health is of a project.
To keep the project moving along, we're continuously communicating, and we use our AtTask notification system very heavily we rely on that heavily to foster the dialogue between team members and to understand where we are within a certain project.
And I think it's brought a level of accountability to the team members, and also a level of transparency to project statuses. Are we on deadline? Are we not? And from my standpoint, since we are a global team, you don't always have the ability to call somebody or talk to them directly to see where a project's at. And so we've started to build a discipline around, making sure that statuses are updated, notes are kept, and kind of a trail, a history of the project.
With more data coming into the system, we're going to get much more qualitative reports on the other side, which is going to make life much easier for management.
The process has changed a little bit for us since we've been introduced to Stream. We previously would set the deadlines and determine the timelines without our team members' commitment. There was some outside conversation that we had with maybe their manager or themselves, but they didn't actually have the visibility to the deadlines like they do now, and now they can actually propose new dates or set the commitment so that we understand that they understand the timeline and our expectations are set appropriately.
I love the new AtTask Stream product because it gives a team member a voice as opposed to being told when something is due, really. Like, not saying that you push out, all your dates or anything, but we are basically given project management level status. Like, we can update our commit dates, and we have just some control over our task, as opposed to having to wait for a project manager who is not always free. They're sometimes very busy. It allows us to help move the process along a lot faster.
For the team members who get to see the work request opposed to just having it on their dashboard, it gives them more flexibility and a little bit more control, and I think they really appreciate that. Previously, they were just sort of dictated to this is what you're going to do and this is when you're going to do it, and now they have that option to further the discussion a little bit and set their priorities accordingly.
Since we've implemented Stream, we have more involvement from them. We get commit dates. We get when they can do the work by. We have them being in the system. We have them interacting more. They are accepting tasks. They are setting up their own timelines. They're using that calendar. They are helping us get better commitment dates, better end dates for our project managers to go back to the clients, to go back to the accounts, and have more accurate dates for them.
AtTask has been very, very positive experience in terms of return on investment. Very quickly, data can be monitored, data can be looked at, analyzed, and things that would have taken weeks or days or several hours, we can do in minutes now. So the process of pulling together reporting, pulling together data for upper management becomes very simple and doesn't take a lot of time.
If I was talking to somebody who didn't have AtTask and they were trying to manage multiple projects on a global scale, I'd probably say that I feel your pain because we were there, and that going forward, if you implement a solution like AtTask, it would definitely bring accountability to the team so that everybody knows where the project is at any point in time.
I recommend AtTask for anybody who is using cross-functional global.
If I were to tell somebody to choose AtTask, and I would say that AtTask is your one-stop shop for all your project management needs.
For anyone struggling with project management and having to use multiple systems and trying to get them to all work together and work across multiple teams, I would definitely recommend AtTask. It's become my Mr. Right in that almost everything I ask of AtTask, he's able to do. So I'm definitely a geek for AtTask. It's kind of a known thing.